Muy buenas a todos, gente, otro día más, bienvenidos al canal, bienvenidos a Memoria. Vamos a jugar aquí ya lo último que nos queda posiblemente, porque ahora tenemos que enfrentarnos aquí con nuestro hermano para que evite reescribir la historia y borrarnos de un plumazo, así que no creo que le quede mucho al juego. Así que sin más, vamos a comenzar. Vale, lo dejamos aquí el otro día. Esto venía a ser que teníamos que abrir la puerta esta, pero que no teníamos ni una llave ni nada por el estilo, así que había que como que tirarle algo al príncipe. Vamos a apedrearle.
Who dares disturb me?
Who do you think?
Sadja! You're alive!
You can't get rid of me that easily.
Oh, girl, leave me in peace.
Qué prepotente, ¿eh? No sé quién de los dos es más chulo. Vamos a seguir tirándole piedras, hombre.
Ow! Who do you think you are?
Pues toma, la última.
This ends now. Watch, Sadja, as I subjugate this chamber to my will forever.
Princess, I have something else for you.
Vale, a ver, ¿qué tienes? ¿Qué tienes para nosotros que no nos hayas dado antes?
You can't overcome him as long as he has that magic shield around him. Its power is fed by the main crystal and the 5 small floating crystals in the towers.
What if I switched off the crystals?
Then he'll become weaker and his shield smaller. Take this key for the left floating tower. But hurry! He's becoming more powerful by the minute.
Thank you.
Vale, o sea que tenemos que ir apagando las torres. Supongo que será el cristal este, ¿no? Los cristales estos flotantes que tenemos ahí, 2. Vamos a ver. Bueno, tendremos que utilizar la llave de la torre. Vale, vamos a entrar a la torre 1. Escudo, estatua, soporte y armadura. Vamos a ver qué hay aquí. Interesante. Escudo.
We're in the lower chamber of the left tower.
Vale.
I'll show you all. I will heal the land that you have forsaken.
Aquí no hay nada más. Esto, la antorcha.
Nothing happened.
A lo mejor hay que poner algo ahí.
It's not a real suit of armor, just a replica.
Tentáculo.
You shouldn't get too close to them.
Vamos a seguir subiendo. Vale, este es el cristal. Vamos a tocar aquí el cristal. Que será lo que esté drenando la magia.
What happened?
I drained the stone's power. The tower must have sunk a bit in the process. Go outside and have a look.
A ver.
The weapon is firmly attached to the armor. I guess I'll have to make do with what I've got.
Vale, este otro escudo. Esto es exactamente igual que
We're
el
in the
otro.
upper chamber of the left tower.
Soporte de la antorcha.
Nothing's moving.
Y esta otra estatua.
I'll show you all. I will fight like no human has ever fought before.
Al puente 1. Pero el puente está roto. Tentáculo.
You shouldn't get too close to them.
Y no hay nada más. Ah, aquí hay algo. Cabeza ornamental. Y nada más, ¿no? Por mucho que vayamos por aquí no vamos a poder saltar.
You shouldn't get too close to them.
Aparte que está cerrado. Vamos para allá. Le podemos volver a tocar en plan de que lo vas activando.
The tower is up again.
Ah, vale, que se van moviendo las torres. Vale, que si lo tocas lo apagas y se baja y si no se sube. A ver. Amigo, antes hemos salido aquí, cuando se baja hemos salido a este cacho, que no podíamos pasar, pero por aquí sí. Vamos a ver, el cristal este entonces le podremos tocar o apagar. Sí. Que se va hasta aquí abajo. Mira, se está debilitando el escudo. Y ahora aparece aquí abajo. Vale, lo que pasa es que no sé si lo habremos desactivado o no. ¿Y podemos seguir por aquí? A la torre 2. Arriba, que por ahí sales. Ah, mira, bajar a la torre 2. Vale, pero aquí no hay nada. Esto está roto, esto está todo roto, aquí no hay nada. Aparte que esto está todo bloqueado. Si tiro la cabeza contra esto, ¿lo podré apagar?
If that's what it takes.
Sí. Sí, efectivamente. Efectivamente, nos lo hemos cargado. Vale, vale, vale. Y ahora sí tenemos la izquierda. Y ya hemos bajado. Vamos a ver el puente 2, otro sitio. Tentáculo. Entrar a la torre 3.
They're soft and warm.
Aquí sí lo podemos tocar.
Perhaps these things are only made of flesh and blood after all.
Very nicely put.
Tiene un cristal aquí arriba. Podríamos intentar cargarlo. A ver. Sí. ¿Y este otro?
They're not easily diverted from their prey.
Vale, pues a ver. Me vuelvo a cortar. Supongo que cortarás uno y subirá otro. A ver si salgo por aquí. ¿A qué parte del exterior salimos? Justo a la cámara donde está él. Y aquí lo que pasa es que está bloqueado, no podemos entrar. Joder, qué putada, hemos dejado esto ahí. Ahora a ver cómo volvemos aquí. Bueno, podríamos volver por aquí abajo y por aquí. Pero claro, llegamos aquí y no podemos saltar. Vamos a ver, vamos a subir a la torre. Esto es lo de la ilusión esta, bajar al puente 2. A ver, al puente 2. Ahora sí lo tenemos más a mano. Se vuelve a debilitar, vale. Vale, nos falta volver a tocar ese. A la torre 3. Vamos para afuera, a ver si podemos movernos por aquí fuera. No. Fragmento durmiente, coño, joder. A ver si ahora los tentáculos estos no nos hacen nada. Vamos a ver. Era el puente 2, ¿no? Que no llamase la atención. Vale, tío. Ahora sí. Y por cierto, esto que brilla será otro fragmento, ¿no? No. A ver, vamos a tocar este. Y ahora a priori ya podríamos tocar.
Take care of the small crystals first. You won't reach the big one until his shield is sufficiently weakened.
Me falta un cristal. ¿Cuál es? Me falta un cristal. A ver, vamos a ver por aquí. ¿Quieres meterte a la...
The tower is down again.
Vale, a ver si le podemos coger. No, vale, esto está aquí. Podríamos desactivarle. No, bueno, pues espérate. Nosotros le tenemos desactivado este. Y si activamos esto... No, flotante. Cristal flotante. A ver,
The belt yanked the crystal off the pedestal. It'll stay down here now.
Vale, ahora le podría trincar. No. Ah, no, vale, solamente le puedo activar. Fragmento flotante, vale. Y si le activo... Intento atraer esta mierda.
Catch!
Ah, míralo.
That was that.
Vale, guay. Joder, macho, esto es bastante... Vamos a tocarlo de nuevo.
The tower is down again.
Vale. ¿Y si salimos a todo esto? Aunque esto está flojo, porque ya se le ve que está aquí flojo. Pero vamos a probar a ver si podemos romper el hechizo.
I better not get too close.
Pero bueno,
I better not get too close.
a ver, tengo que acercarme al tentáculo y cortarlo, tío.
That puts an end to your little spectacle.
Vale, ahora sí. Ahora sí, amigo. Y lo mismo te has quedado aquí medio subnormal. Joder, macho, esta parte es bastante chunga.
I suppose after all these years you've finally done it. You have defeated me.
Do you really think I spent the last 15 years thinking about nothing other than how to defeat you? You're even more vain than I thought.
Joder, no sé yo
I thought you wanted to outdo me.
I'm not here because of you. I'm here so my great deeds can go down in history.
What great deeds?
Don't even start.
As you wish. If words cannot injure you, take this.
Joder.
I thought I would let you win. But if that doesn't matter to you, then I might as well just destroy you.
¿A dónde cojones, el tío? Vale, pues... A ver... ¿Y si le cortamos los tentáculos a todo esto? ¿No? Espérate. No. O sí. No, pero podemos joderle. ¿No? Sí, efectivamente.
You have won. You have defeated me. You've destroyed the greatest temple the world has ever seen.
Y ahora se nos va a caer encima.
Death will now rain down on the troops. No one will survive to tell of your terrible deed.
Esta muerte terrible.
Soon, none of what you've done will count for anything.
Luego contará para nada. Todo esto está en el aire.
You must be proud of yourself, for you have won. You've defeated me.
Sí, sí.
Only no one will
Nadie
remember.
lo recordará. Bueno, ¿así se termina la historia aquí o qué? Demonios, este muerto. ¿Hemos sobrevivido o qué? Vamos a ver si te puedo levantar. Sí. Somos la pelota, hemos sobrevivido. Bueno, de momento aquí tenemos el palo. Y a ver qué más hay aparte del palo, el palo. Vamos a pillarlo, que es el que nos da los hechizos. De nuestro hermano no hay ni rastro, ¿no? De momento.
He's here. Help!
A ver, ¿quién está herido? Por aquí, este, Amazona joven. Vamos a ver, tenemos ahí, espera, a ver.
The shield. I must move it.
Sí, pues apalancar, como mucho. ¿No? Sí. Cacho escudo.
I'm wounded. Please, help me.
Por favor, ayuda. Vale, pues a ver. Podemos...
The bottle is
un
empty.
vendaje. No. ¿Y si le aplicamos solamente el vendaje, ya que no hay alcohol?
The bandage is all that I have.
Al final hemos participado en la guerra, pero de otra manera. Uf. Vamos a cortar ahí la hemorragia de alguna forma, ¿no? Aunque no creo. No sé yo. El demonio de los tentáculos. ¿Podemos petrificar o...?
Quick, take my hand! And then, suddenly, everything was quiet. It was as though Satinav had played a prank and stopped time.
Cabrón.
An almost endless moment in which Sadja and the adept just stared at each other. He didn't understand that his rescuing hand was more terrible to her than 1,000 demon tentacles could have ever been. The final admission of her ghastly failure. Suddenly, Satinav snapped his fingers again, and life continued.
¿Este es el Sátiro?
As he pulled her away, I heard her scream. "Leave me," she called. "Leave me.
De vuelta.
Take me back." And again, I can't leave him behind. Over and over, quieter and quieter, and ever farther away. It didn't take long, and they had disappeared. And that was that.
Ah, el bastón.
I was right back where I started. Only one thing was different this time. This time, I was able to remember. Remember a princess who persevered in the face of the most impossible obstacles. It helped that the Gorian Desert is one of the most magical places known to this world. Several astral lines crossed there, and I lay directly among them. I grew ever more powerful, and I practiced and practiced and practiced. After 400 years, I succeeded in refining my spell to the point where I finally found a way to permanently transform my body. I left the desert and set out for Draconia. I had to know what had happened to my princess after our separation. What happened to the only woman who was ever prepared to entrust her life to a shady, magical staff.
Vale. Vale, o sea que este era el capítulo 7. Termina aquí, o sea que el bastón ha cobrado vida y va buscando el paradero de la princesa. Capítulo 7 completado, vale.
Sadja failed in the Gorian desert.
Y huyó. Vamos, huyó, escapó por los pelos. Vale,
She had the mask and she knew the name of the Gin of Time.
Geron y Faji.
If the wearer of the mask speaks the name of the Gin of Time, he can retrieve things past. But Sadja didn't waken the Jinn. Why not?
Pues porque sería peligroso.
She was devastated.
Ah, mira la inscripción. Vale, algo más.
It's not all that hard. You just have to put the pieces together. I wonder if Geron's awake yet.
En principio sí. Monolitos. Vale, vamos a ver qué hay aquí. De todo. Fuego. Vale, vamos a ver.
I can't reach it. How could I?
Ajá. Ah, vale. Que Braida es con la que...
Braida!
No,
Braida!
no nos va a oír. Estamos dentro de...
I now know that they can see me and hear me, but it won't do them any good.
A ver,
As the stone over the scarab, so rules the scarab over the stone. I still don't understand.
A ver, ¿qué podemos hacer? Tenemos el cuchillo esto y un hechizo. Reparar, destruir. La inscripción. Podemos romper... Pues que si rompemos la piedra nos rompemos a nosotros.
Not after what happened to Ulrich.
Ni a Faji. A ver.
The spell won't do any good here.
¿Y aquí? Lo hemos activado. Bueno, lo hemos reparado.
Geron, can you hear me? I think I've solved the riddle. It's a little complicated. There are so many little pieces. There's only one thing missing. Then we can finally complete the story. Then I'll ask the staff to change you back. I promise. Can you do me one more favor first? Sadja's ruby has a crack. You need to repair it. Can you do that for me?
¿Y dónde está el rubí? Ah, la máscara.
Please, Geron. Repair the ruby. Thank you. And now let me try something. I pray to the gods that I'm not mistaken. Vedan faskedan, esplastiquatan, humurilor gras, ferrogoran, hilbemutir gerol falan, yuntir quatan, feluntir sodan.
Vale.
Geron? Are you still there? If so, then you should be able to cast the staff's first spell. Please give me a sign that it worked.
Eso sería el de activar, desactivar o el activar las visiones. Ah, o valor B. Vale, este es el de
I was right. Thank you. Thank you, Geron. Oh, you're probably wondering where you are. The staff created this place, a burial chamber of a mogul in the middle of the Andergastrian forest. Isn't that impressive?
Leave the mask and come to me.
He's here. I'll be right back.
Braida! And I get left behind again. Nuri!
Vale, ¿y qué hacemos nosotros? Nuri, o sea, podríamos enviarle una visión a Nuri. A ver. Si le decimos que la fogata tiene un río y que está en las montañas.
That's it! I'll send Nuri to the mountain and then along the course of the brook until she reaches the fire. I hope it works.
Efectivamente. Aterriza aquí, en el campamento. Y ahora habrá que mandar la otra visión para que nos reconozca o...
Thank the gods. I'm starting to remember
o
something.
puedo hacer algo con la máscara, quizá. Espérate, a ver. Si vemos aquí una visión a Nuri que nos acerque el acumulador de energía para bufar la máscara, pero nos pide otra cosa. No sé, pues tú misma. Vale, la he puesto de arriba. En principio con esto ahora debería de tener más poder. La máscara, vamos a ver. ¿Lo activamos? No, esto lo desactivaría. A ver si nos despetrificamos. Sí. Geron y Nuri, despetrificados. Puta madre.
Ah, finally.
Bueno, ya estamos
Fi,
aquí.
is everything all right?
Oh, yes. My stiff old bones haven't felt this young in ages.
Vale.
Thanks, Nuri.
Who are you?
That doesn't matter now. Will you promise to wait for me here?
All right.
I'll be right back.
Vale, entonces ahora ya podríamos entrar a la cámara funeraria, aunque primero tendríamos que hablar con él.
Let me rest a moment. I'll follow you soon.
A ver, ¿qué más hay? El resto de los monolitos, Nuri, el arroyo...
I'm not thirsty right now.
Vale,
The accumulator doesn't have enough power left to change them back. I'll have to ask the staff to do that.
vale.
The accumulator doesn't have enough power left to change them. I'll have to...
¿Y esto qué es?
All I can hear is the crackle of the fire. As the stone over the... I still don't understand.
El mismo acertijo. Vamos a ir para adentro.
It's been 450 years since I, a talking staff with no memories, kindled the light in my prison and saw a strange woman who would change my life forever. Her story began in this chamber, and between these walls we will end it together. Merhaba, Geron. Welcome.
You were able to free yourself.
What does all this mean? Where are we?
Sí, porque está en una
Ask
cámara.
him.
Indeed. Ask me. You should know that I've waited a long time for this day, and would not like to wait much longer. But if you have a great many questions... What's going to happen here? So you still haven't figured out why I sent you my memories? Why you're here?
Pues no. Cuéntamelo todo. Cuéntamelo
I am
todo.
here because Fahi promised to change Nuri back into a fairy if I helped him with a little riddle. No one said anything about ensouled magic staves, flying fortresses and strange dreams.
Life is full of surprises, isn't it?
Ha!
You laugh, but I wouldn't have believed that one day someone would rescue me from my dungeon, that I was to climb mountains without legs and wrestle without arms with demons. I would have laughed if someone had told me, a princess will appear to you and, despite your strange form, show you the greatest wonders of the world. Oh, how I would have laughed!
Okay, but that doesn't explain why we're here.
You know that Sadja and I were separated. Our golden time together came to an end when I finally found a way to leave the Gorian desert. Centuries had passed. I wanted to know if Sadja had done it, if she had become the great heroine she always wanted to be. I wanted to hear how her name was whispered in the streets in awe. Sadja al-Kabir, Sadja the Great, the heroine who once... But no one had ever heard of her. So I continued and expanded my search. I wanted to know what happened to her after our separation. I followed her trail back to Draconia. I found the Adept's journal and the Djinn of Times' mask. But Sadja's real fate remained a mystery to me. Finally, I met Fahi and asked him to bring me here. A man named Ulrich had taken her ruby from Draconia and brought it to Undergast. He sought the mask in order to bring back his deceased wife, but he found only the gemstone.
Is all this really important?
Venga, que sea corto. pero ya me lo ha dicho. Venga.
Why did you need the ruby? Why the mask? Why all of this?
I wanted to bring together all the relics surrounding Sadja's disappearance and finally understand what happened to her. At least I would know what happened to her.
Claro, cayó en el
She
olvido.
deserved that. There was only one problem. I'm terrible at riddles. That's why I needed experts to help me. Who could understand every detail, who could be prepared for today.
Prepared? To do what?
To be able to tell Sadja's tale to the end without making a mistake.
Does it matter how she died? She's dead. We can't change that.
You're wrong. You will determine what happened to her.
I don't understand.
The Garden of Oblivion, Geron. I read the journal to the end. After her return, Sadja went into the Garden of Oblivion and never came out again. Nothing that happens in the garden has actually happened until someone talks about it. Outside the garden.
And since Sadja has been forgotten since that day, her fate has never been told, and thus never completed.
El jardín del olvido. Claro, lo que nos ha estado contando aquí todo el rato. A ver, que nos cuente.
I never did understand the garden.
Geron, the events in the garden have no effect on the outside world, as though they never happened. Only once someone convincingly tells of those events do they become true.
But if it turns out that they lied, or were mistaken,
Then Satanav's invisible hand punishes them for their sacrilege.
that's why we mustn't make a mistake. I think I've explained enough about our wondrous meeting.
Are you ready, Geron?
Just a
No
moment.
queda otra. Sí, eso. Para empezar, Nuri, ¿qué pasa con ella?
At the waterfall, you promised to change Nuri back to her old form.
And I will, but first, we must complete Sadja's story.
Me parece a mí que nos va a estafar, ¿eh? El castigo de Satinav. Que es
What
que
if
nos
one of us ends Sadja's story and is wrong?
If Satinav learns that the tale we tell can't possibly be true, then he'll make it unhappen and declare the teller guilty of sacrilege.
Don't worry, Geron. We won't make a mistake. I've thought everything through very carefully.
El acertijo de la
What
entrada.
about the inscription on the burial chamber?
You mean the stone and the scarab? Fahi believes that the inscription is the key to everything. But as apt as his intuition may be, in this case he's mistaken. The riddle is apparently only a strange jotting on the margins, a random blemish on an otherwise monumental painting. There's nothing else to say about it. Sadja was taken to the burial chamber to read trivial inscriptions, and, as proud as she was, she refused, that's all.
Vale, y el papel de Faji era pues para...
What's Fahi's role in all this?
Fahi is a man of many talents. He has a feeling for tales, and he's good at solving riddles. In addition, he had a wagon and a tent in which I could hide on my long journey. He is helping me solve the riddle, and in return, I protect his business from looters. That is our agreement.
So he's actually harmless.
Fahi is the most harmless man I've ever met in my 3,000 years. I was sorry to petrify him, but it was the only way to save him from your fellow citizens.
Y Braida, ¿qué pasa con ella?
Why are you here, Brida? Sadja's story doesn't have anything to do with you.
Geron, there's nothing left for me here. I'm a deserter. My own comrades are hunting me. This is my only refuge.
Eso, pero-
Please, even if you still don't understand, let me bring it to an end.
I'm sure everything will be fine again.
The world will never be as fine as it once was.
podemos
All right.
Then put the mask on the bust of my old master and let us begin.
Vale. Vale, tenemos el busto y el busto. Ok. Bueno, espérate. A ver qué nuevas nos trae.
Thank you, Geron. Are you ready now?
Yes.
No, ¿por qué debería? Sí, venga. estamos
Let's
de
get
acuerdo.
this over with.
Thank you, Geron.
Which of you will now step forward and tell the story to its end?
Lo haré yo, el bastón debería hacerlo, Braida debería hacerlo. Hombre, pues lo voy a hacer yo, ¿no? O sea...
I'll do it.
Very well. I'll now tell you of Sadja's passage into the garden, as it is written in the Adept's journal. Listen closely. At the end, You must tell me how the story ends. After her return from the battlefield, Sadja was only a shadow of herself. She had seen the horrors of the nether hells, an ocean of destruction and death. She was the only survivor, but the rest of the world did not care. Sadja's great dream had failed. She wandered the halls of Draconia like a ghost. She didn't eat, and she only slept when exhaustion forced her to. On the fourth day, a young adept saw her at the threshold to the portal. He asked her where she was going. It was cold in the mountains, and she could have become lost, whereupon she answered,
I'm going to the garden to break my
Para
being.
olvidar, ¿no?
The boy immediately ran to the air adept, but help arrived too late. When they entered the garden, all that they found was the mask and Sadja's ruby next to it. There was no sign of her. Out of fear of challenging Satinath, it was decided that they would forget the incident. No one was allowed to speculate about what had happened on that day. The mask and the ruby were taken to Draconia. The garden was sealed, and Sadja's fate was forgotten. Until today. It's now up to you, Geron, to finish her story. But remember, one mistake, and the consequences will be terrible.
I know. Sadja entered the garden.
Vale. Lo que vamos a hacer es, antes de nada, salvar. Porque si la cagamos, la podemos liar aquí y estamos en el final, o sea que no es plan volver al juego. Sadja entró aquí, vale. Y miró alrededor. Saco la máscara.
She took out the mask.
Vaciló, miró dentro de la máscara
She looked into the mask and...
y leyó el hechizo. Dijo el nombre del Dijin del tiempo, que convirtió todas las plantas en piedra. Dijo el nombre del Dijin del tiempo.
And...
She read the magic spell, memorized it, put on the mask, and destroyed her memory.
Why did you interrupt me?
I was afraid you would say the wrong thing.
Oh.
Then she disappeared into the depths of the garden like a soulless waif and was never seen again.
It is done. I had always hoped it would be otherwise. But I was mistaken.
Are you crying?
Of course I'm crying. My princess just died.
Oh, well... I guess that's it then. That was the end just now, wasn't it?
Yes.
No,
¿O no? ¿Podemos cambiarlo?
since Sadja used the mask, her memories are now in the mask, and thus the true name of the Djinn of Time.
What are you doing?
Fadan Faskadan Esplaste Quatan, Umurir Lorgras, Ferel Goran, Il Bemotir Kerul Falan, Juntir Katan Filontir Sodan. Nijetime ta for Imano Iuti Veda.
I've been awakened.
The Djinn of Time.
Tell me, child, what is your wish?
I'm sorry, Geron, but there's nothing left for me in this time. As if there had ever been anything for me here. There are no heroic princesses, no ancient tombs, no flying fortresses. Only endless honor guards, latrine duty, one triviality after another. When was the golden age lost? When princesses still dreamed of battles and the world was filled with magic. I wish it was all as it used to be.
Your wish is my command.
Que todo fuese como antes.
Brider.
No es
The
lo
girl
mismo,
is now gone. Her longing now rules over her existence. It is my task to fulfill that longing. To extinguish the grey present and bring the past to life again.
El Dijin. es el billete? Hostias. Que ha bajado al jardín y a ver qué lía. A ver qué lía o a ver qué podemos hacer, pues no podemos movernos ahora mismo.
Oh no. The forest is starting to change. What did she do?
Geron, come quickly. Geron, I've been thinking.
That's nice, but it won't help us any. Bryda told Sadja's story to the end. She had Sadja put on the mask and draw out all her memories in the Garden of Oblivion, so that everything has now happened exactly like that. And she read out Sadja's memories with the ruby. I mean, Bryda did that, and now she's possessed by the Djinn of Time, and...
Calm yourself, Geron.
I'm supposed to calm down? We have to do something!
You're right, and we can only do something if we prove that Bryda was wrong, that Sadja did not put on the mask. You forget that there's still a part of the riddle we have not solved.
The scarab? As if a pointless riddle could save us all.
Do you have a better idea? Look around. We're in a copy of the burial chamber. Perhaps you'll find the crucial clue somewhere. Bring it to me, and perhaps we can solve the riddle once and for all.
Whatever happens, please stay here.
I will. I need to rest a bit anyway. Flying is fun, but so exhausting.
El fuego.
Finally, a little warmth.
No podemos coger una antorcha. No tenemos una antorcha. Los monolitos del río, nada, tenemos que entrar otra vez aquí. El rubí. Y el bastón, a ver si lo podemos pillar. No hay nada más. La tumba.
Not yet. The Djinn of Time would immediately tear me to pieces.
Pues aquí no hay nada más. Y no podemos usar esto, vamos para afuera. Faji. Esto se ha quedado sin pilas.
Search the burial chamber and show me any clues you find. Perhaps then we'll know what has to be done.
La única pista que hay es el rubí. Que a lo mejor el rubí tiene forma de escarabajo o que tiene un escarabajo.
All I found was the ruby.
Give it to me. Giacomo Nauta told me you were an amateur mage. Is that true?
Yeah, I can break things.
Well, I can also do a bit of magic. If I hold something in my hand, I can catch a glimpse of its past. That was the main reason the staff chose me as his companion, you see. Now, let's see what story this stone tells.
También puede hacer magia el comerciante.
Curious. When the ruby was found after Sadja's disappearance in the garden, it had a crack. And the reversal spell the Ore Adept had woven into it had vanished utterly. The mages had to reapply it completely. But there's more. I see a palace garden, and in it, 2 children.
This is a brooch from Mangbilla. My father gave it to me.
Oh, can I see?
There. And here, a ruby from the dwarf tunnels in the brazen sword.
It's so beautiful.
When I'm Caliph, I'll have all the treasures in Avestan gathered in my palace. Fazar will be more radiant than in the times of the great Moguls. My subjects will lie at my feet for all eternity.
You'll be a good ruler, Cassim. All the history books will tell of you.
Ha! Do you see the sign on my arm? It's the calligraphy of my sovereignty, the sign of my dynasty. The whole world will bow before this symbol. There are great times ahead of us, Sadja. Truly great times.
I see a prince and a princess playing together. He's trying to impress her. What could this mean?
Que eran hermanos, eso está claro.
So Sadja and the prince really were siblings.
Wait. There's more. Something's happening. A palace guard arrives.
Let me go! You're so pathetic. Isn't that how you like to be treated? Like the dog that you are.
Oh.
At least I have my own teeth. You please me, Sadja, more than I had hoped.
Pese a que eres
The
un capullo
prince
retorcido.
is tormenting the princess. The guard holds her tight. She's at his mercy. But why?
Para putearla. Estaba siendo atormentada sin razón.
Maybe there was no reason, and she was punished unjustly.
They finally let her go. She remains alone in the courtyard.
Really? What are you doing? Are you tattooing yourself?
I'm writing my own dynasty.
Do you even know what the word means? Dynasty? You can't simply write greatness into your blood. You're either born with it or not.
I'll prove it to you.
Do you think you could ever be greater than I? You're amusing. Guards! Throw her back into the gutter where you found her. I'm done having my fun with her. Then fetch me a new girl.
Ah, pues no somos hermanos.
Sadja wasn't a princess at all. She was only a poor girl from the streets.
So what?
I don't know, but...
What's so funny?
Don't you understand? The solution to the riddle. Sadja's words outside the burial chamber. It was so obvious all along.
No tengo ni puta idea. A ver.
I still don't understand.
Why was Sadja taken into the burial chamber by the group of heroes?
Because she was a princess. But she wasn't.
Yes, she merely claimed to be a princess, and as such, she was supposed to be able to decipher the ancient inscription.
But if she wasn't, how could she read it anyway?
You'll have to come up with the rest yourself.
No la leyó.
Oh, we were fooling ourselves. Now, go into the burial chamber and tell it to the djinn. Then everything will be all right again.
Vale, o sea que tenemos que entrar aquí y decirle al Djinn que esta no era una... No, ya. Tenemos la tumba y la tumba.
Ryder, or whoever you are, come out.
Why do you obstruct her wish? She's unhappy. She wishes to be back in a time where everything was still good. You, of all people, should understand that. But it no longer matters what you think. The ritual is almost complete. A new ancient kingdom will grow from the oak wood.
Not if I can prove that Bryder was wrong. And she was indeed wrong.
Sadja went into the garden, she took the mask, and she spoke the incantation. So did it happen, and so shall it remain.
It will. Listen, let me start at the beginning. Sadja entered the garden, she sat down and pulled out the mask.
A ver qué versión le contamos.
She looked into the mask.
Leyó el hechizo, dijo tu nombre y desapareció. Leyó el hechizo.
And read the magic spell.
Whereupon everything happened as Bryder already said.
Wait, I was mistaken. Sadja looked into the mask.
Y dijo tu nombre.
And spoke your name.
No. If she had awakened me, I would know about it. She didn't want my power. She wanted to destroy herself. That's why she read the incantation. And everything happened as it now is.
Wait, she looked into the mask?
Pues eso, y se fue.
And despaired in herself and her inability.
Why should she despair? She had my promise of blessed oblivion.
All she had to do was read the incantation.
No.
Ella no podía hacer nada con la máscara, ella no podía leer. Ella no podía leer porque no era una princesa.
I'm sorry, Bryder, but Sadja wasn't as brilliant as you think. She felt persecuted and restless. She wanted to forget her own past and become someone else. She wasn't a princess, just a poor girl from the streets. And as such, she couldn't even read.
No.
Ya te he hecho dudar.
Forgive me, Bryder.
Wow. Hostia, nos ha ayudado, pero claro, ha pagado el precio por
That's that then. The riddle is finally solved.
haber dicho una historia.
Why such a long face, Geron?
Yes, my friend? What plagues you so?
Nothing. Why are you so happy anyway? Sadja's fate proved to be false. You don't know any more now than you did before.
Very true. Very true. But perhaps not.
Oh, forget it. I'm sick of riddles.
Yes. Leave the dear boy in peace, Aleph. Fulfill his wish, and let's move on.
Yes, traveling is nice.
Sí, eso
I want to go to the sea.
Wait just a moment.
It's up to you, my friend. Do you want me to change her back?
But I can only restore her body, not her memories.
Reconvertirla o dejarla como está. ¿En serio? No, hombre, reconvertirla. Da igual.
I fought so hard
A
for
ver,
it.
es que si no, esto no tiene sentido.
I want everything to be the way it was.
So be it.
Ahora
It is done.
Nuri? Nuri, can you hear me?
No vas a ver quiénes somos, pero bueno,
What's going on?
véalo.
Who are you?
My name is Geron. How do you feel?
Strange. I'm cold.
Lo
What
demás no es
happened?
nada.
Come to the fire and rest. Then I'll tell you everything. Who you are, where you come from, and what wonderful adventures the two of us have had.
Adventures?
It all began last autumn. Crows had attacked the royal palace, and King Everden asked me to come up with a way to stop the plague. My search led me to a strange cave
Ahora tenemos que
near a
buscar una guía
waterfall.
rubia juntos.
And thus ends the tale.
¿Y ya?
Did you know that it would come to this? Oh, how can I know what you planned? And what was mere fortune? Until today, I would have sworn that the mask destroyed you. But that can't be. We know that now. Now, just so I don't make a mistake, there are only two possibilities as to what could have happened to you back then. The first, the more likely,
Vamos a ver, falsa.
has now proven to be false, which leaves only the second.
Con el rumbo.
I mustn't make a mistake.
Here we go. When Sadja entered the garden, she had the mask with her. But no ruby. Yet,
Sí, cierto.
when the mask was found, there was a ruby beside it. Now, it may be that it was Sadja's ruby that was thrown into the garden earlier by the prince.
But what if it was another? Oh dear. Oh dear. There's no going back now.
That's enough. I say that there was not one, but two rubies.
Oh.
The real one was lost. The fake was taken from the garden by the mages and is now here in my hand.
Sadja couldn't read, but with my mask she could do magic.
She could turn plants to stone. She could turn people to stone. What is a ruby?
If not just another stone. There.
Cierto.
And now to you, my dear. You descended into the deepest tombs. And you climbed the highest mountains.
Hablando de las montañas más altas. Va, que la va a invocar. Va a
You
hacer
danced with wind spirits and wrestled with demons. Abandoned by the gods, forgotten by time. Charizard, your time has finally come.
Poco más. Nada más que espero que os haya gustado el stream, espero que os haya gustado este point and click de Memoria. Ya es un poco viejo. Yo creo que era de los primeros antes de Ponia y de algún otro de este estudio, pero bueno, yo lo he jugado al final. Así que poco más. Muchísimas gracias por ver el stream. Espero veros el miércoles, y si os ha gustado podéis suscribiros o seguirme en mis redes sociales. Así que lo dicho, nos vemos. Un saludo y hasta el miércoles. Chao.
Yes, fulfill his...
Yes, traveling is nice. I want to go to the sea.
Wait just a moment.
It's up to you, my friend. Do you want me to change her back? But I can only restore her body, not her memories.
Leave her. Her new life as a raven seems to make her happy.
So be it.
And thus our time together is at an end.
Can I leave now too? I want to fly over the ocean.
Don't leave just yet. It's hard for me, but if you want to leave, then you can.
You still haven't told me who you are.
My name is Geron.
Hello, Geron. I am the raven Nuri Dalilena Vanda, but you can call me Nuri.
Even if you've forgotten a lot, if you ever get tired of your travels, you'll always find a home with me.
That's nice. It is lovely to meet you, Geron.
Likewise. Farewell, Nuri.
See you later.
And thus ends the tale. Did you know that it would come to this? Oh, how can I know what you planned, and what was mere fortune? Until today, I would have sworn that the mask destroyed you. But that can't be. We know that now. Now, there are only the first, which leaves only... I mustn't make a mistake.
Here we go. When Sadja entered the garden, she had the mask. Yet, when the mask was found... Now, it may be that it was... But what if it was another?
Oh dear. There's no going back.
Satinav! I say that there was not one, but two rubies. The real one was lost. The fake was taken from the garden by the mages and is now here in my hand. Sadja couldn't read, but with my mask she could do magic. She could turn plants to stone. She could turn people to stone. What is a ruby, if not just another stone?
There. And now to you, my dear. You descended into the deepest tombs, and you climbed the highest mountains. You danced with wind spirits and wrestled with demons. Abandoned by the gods, forgotten by time. Shahrazad, your time has finally come.